Man, it's a long week already. Welcome to our Tuesday night live Q&A. I used to do these on Wednesdays. My name is Tracy Matson, and I'm a certified professional dog trainer and behavior consultant. And I live in Utah. Um, so I did change the time a little bit. I've been trying to go to the gym actually on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 6. Today I ended up with a migraine, so I didn't go, but I'm feeling better now because I got some rest. So here we are. Hi, Julie. So I'm going to be writing down names for our drawing. Facebook user that said hi with the hand wave, it doesn't have your name. Hi, Shireen. Renee, is that you that says Facebook user? I know yours comes through different sometimes. Um, let's see. Arkansas. Oh, Lonnie. Okay. Usually your name comes up. That's really weird. Lonnie Campbell, Canada. Shireen. Should I spell it right? Um. Oh, I do. Shireen, I'm so happy to do that because I would probably be the one to pronounce it incorrectly, but I just pronounce it how it's spelled. So, I have not heard of complex migraines, although I've had migraines since high school. Um, and I mean, I have daily chronic headaches, but today was an actual like migraine where I did have to. I had two clients in the morning that I didn't want to cancel on, so I just like powered through it. And then I had an appointment that canceled, so I was able to come home and sleep. Um, and then I went and saw my one afternoon client. So, but yeah, I have an appointment with my neurologist, I think in April. So, oh, it mimics a stroke. No, I haven't had that where I think I'm having a stroke. I haven't had that. It's just like intense pain here, and it's hard to open my eyes. And I get really nauseous to where I feel like I'm going to throw up. And I actually took nausea medicine today. So that's kind of how bad it was. But yeah, Shireen, I love that name. Okay, so for the first little bit, I wanted to talk about the difference between wait and stay and leave it. Oh, you've had a complex migraine? Since Sunday? Oh wow. Now, hey Dylan. Um, I have had migraines last for 11 days before, and it's just like chronic. And so, but I don't feel like I'm having a stroke. It's just doesn't go away. So, okay, so this came up today in a training session. So I like to do. Oh, let's see. I've had headaches lately and get dizziness, and I need to take nausea. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, we could talk about headaches for a second. Um, I used to get. I mean, I got them all the time, like in high school and stuff, because I was an overachiever, had to have straight A's, like all that stupid stuff. And then, some stressful jobs. And then I thought, oh, once I can just start working with dogs, they'll go away because then I'll be doing like what I really love. I'll be my own boss, yada, yada, yada. And yes, Kirsten, I did get your name. Um, and they didn't go away. So I've had every MRI, CAT scan known to man. I've been on every medication known to man, except maybe some of the newer ones. But yeah, so I still get them and dizzy, and my head just like pounds, and then I get nauseous with them. So, yeah, they're just kind of there all the time. What I was going to say is mine had started to get a little bit better. And then COVID happened and I got COVID and I was really, really sick for 3.5 weeks, like lost 20 pounds, was literally like on the couch. And after that, my migraines actually got worse and my headaches got worse. Janice, hello. Janice, I think you're new, right? Welcome. In my 20s, I had a migraine for 3 months. I've been receiving Botox for them the last 3 years. Um, wow. Yeah, you beat me because I have not had one last 3 months. Um, okay, let's see. R Young, tell me where you're from. Andrea, hello. So my neurologist, he's not going to be happy with me because the last time I went, he said, okay, the only thing that we have not tried is Botox. But the problem is my insurance only pays 50% and it's like $1,600. And you have to do it every 3 months. So for me to come up with $800, oh, Minnesota. Oh, that was my cat that just jumped over the gate. So it's just like out of my price range. Like I just can't do that every 3 months. So I did do a shot today of what's rizatriptan. I do Toradol, and I don't know if that's the generic or what, but I can do one a month. I can't do more than one a month. And I do Phenagrin for nausea. I did do a Toradol today, and it helped. Yeah, and it's expensive, and I just can't afford it. It's just me, myself, and I, as far as income and crappy insurance. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know that I've heard of that one. I don't know if that I've tried it though. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about, hey Renee. Let's talk about wait, stay, and leave it. So think of wait as wait a second and then you get it. So wait and then you get your food. Wait and then let's go. Like wait, we'll go through the door. This can kind of help with dogs like wanting to bolt through the door. Um, so I do it in the car. I'll say, wait while I put their leashes on so they don't just bolt out of the car. So it kind of goes off of the Premack principle. So the dogs don't really want to wait, but they will, knowing that something better is going to come. So if I wait, we get to go on a hike. If I wait, I get my food. If I wait, we get to go for a walk. Stay is more like stay put. So that's where you work on distance, duration, distraction. So that would be like if you're going out the door and your dog's not coming with you, I do stay. And that just tells the dog, like, stay put, you're not going. And that can help with dogs that bolt through the door. So I have a client right now, and his dog, like, bolted through an open door and attacked the neighbor dog. So it really, it just kind of tells the dog, like, you're going to wait for me is like 1 to 2 seconds, and then they get it. Stay is like stay put. So if I'm getting something out of my car, but my dogs aren't going to get out, I do stay. So then they don't get there. They just like, okay, they'll sit there or lay there and not get really excited about getting out. So they notice stay. And then leave it is different in that, and I know from the videos, I think Zach, George, and I do this a little bit different. So if you prefer his way, then yeah, by all means you can do that. I'm just telling you like how I do it and how I make it make sense in my head. So wait for food is wait and then you get it. Leave it means you don't ever get it. So that's like porcupine, skunk, deer poop, a moose, something like that. So it means It means you don't ever get it, but if you leave it, I'll give you something better. So I'll start out with like a milk bone and have them leave that, but then they get a training treat. And then I might ask them, hi, Maddie. And then I might ask them for, or to leave cheese, but they'll get hot dogs. And then I might ask them to leave chicken, but they get steak. And I actually don't eat meat. So it doesn't happen a lot around here. But my point is, I keep raising the value of what I ask them to leave, but then the value of what I reward them is also going to increase. And I will tell you that when I go out to eat, I will get a side of bacon in a box. I will get, when I go to the grocery store, I'll buy like a whole chicken that's already been roasted and cut it up and use that for training. So just because I don't eat meat, like I don't make my dogs not eat meat. So I do use it. And I buy, cheese and hot dogs for them too. So that's kind of the difference. So just think of wait a second, and then you get the item or you get to do something. And using a flirt pole is really good at teaching impulse control. My cat has the zoomies, by the way. So with the flirt pole, you tell them wait, and then you start to lower it. And if they go for it, it comes back up. If they wait for it, it goes down, and then you can say go, and then you move it around and let them chase it. This can be really good for herding breeds and dogs that need a job, dogs that like to chase, bite, tug. It can get that energy out. And then it teaches a drop it, and then they have to sit and wait again. And they have to calm down. So it also teaches them how to regulate kind of their energy level, because then they calm down and you're taking possession of the toy, and then you tell them wait again, and then you lower it, and then go. And then I usually go the other way to unwind myself. So that's wait. So stay is longer. Think of like, I want you to stay put while we eat dinner, or I want you to stay while we have company, or, something like that. So it's longer. It's more of like a settle on the mat. Hi, Renee. Our other Renee. Yes, Kirsten, exactly. Wait is temporary, and wait is like, think of wait a second. So it's very like 1 to 2 seconds, where stay is permanent. It's longer. So until release. So usually when I do stay, then I'll say free, which means free. And I mean, wait is temporary in that, stay is temporary in that we're not going to ask them to stay forever, but it is more like a stay put until I release you. And then I'll say free. So when I'm practicing stay, Renee, let me finish writing you down so I don't forget. When I'm practicing stay, sometimes I'll go back and click and treat, and then I'll say stay again. So it's just a reminder that even though I rewarded you, I haven't released you. So when I do a stay, it will look like I go back, click and treat, stay, back up again. Then I might go back up to the dog and pet them. Oh, good stay, good job. I don't want to make it really like overly enthusiastic, because then they jump up and get all excited. So it's a very calm, like, oh, good job, good stay. And then sometimes I might walk all the way around them. And it actually makes dogs pay more attention, because they don't know what's coming next. It's like, oh, am I going to get the treat? Do I get affection? Is she going to walk around me? Is she going to step over me? Am I going to get released? And so they really do pay attention. And so, yes, that's why I do it. So especially with Jade, who is a service dog in training, when we practice in public, like I'll do stay. She has to do a down stay in an aisle, and I will walk around to another aisle and then come back. Or I have her sit stay while I go open the freezer section, get what I need out, and then come back and release her. Does that make sense? So it just kind of, I feel like it gives the dog a little bit more information. The other reason I like to do it different, because I know some trainers do like leave it and then, okay, go get it. And This is why I do it different. Hey Brian, I was just waiting for Brian to jump on. Um, this is the reason that I do it different is because wait means wait and then you get it. So if we taught leave it, like, okay, leave it, and then, okay, now you can go get it. Well, what if that is a skunk and the dog's been taught, oh, if I leave it, then I get to go back and get it. So then you tell your dog to leave a skunk, but then they think, okay, now I left it, now I get to go back and get it. So I like to teach two totally different behaviors. So leave it means you don't ever get it, but if you leave that, I'm going to give you something better. And usually, a lot of times, I will combine leave it with recall. So I tell the dog, like, okay, leave it, and then come, let's go this way. And so it's like really fun. And we're gonna move away from the skunk, away from the porcupine, the moose, like whatever. We have a lot of animals like down low right now just because of the snow. Like we have so much snow. So we've had bobcats, herds of elk, moose, everything like that. So, having a really good leave it is really, really important. So that is why I differentiate between those things. Um, let's see. Let me go back. Julie, I wanted to thank you last week giving advice on Dakota for letting her out first and guiding her outside. She's making progress. Awesome. Um, I thought of that because I'm actually doing that same thing with another client. So they have a dog that they have two little like Chihuahua dogs that go in the same crate, and when they let them out, their other dog would kind of run over and like tell them off, like get mad at them, like not attack them, but snap at them. And so we would go like put him in his place and then let them out. So like we separate them and then let them out, since like the letting out of the crate can be a trigger. Um, so yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad it's working. Let's see, Ariane, you've all helped me so much with my puppy. Oh, good. Toradol is pain meds. Oh, is it? Yeah, I knew that it was prescription. It's like liquid ibuprofen. So it's in a shot form. And like I said, I'm only allowed to do one a month. And I usually have to do that with something that makes me sleepy so I can just like sleep it off. So, but yeah, it's like ibuprofen. It's not pain meds, is in like narcotic, because my doctor lets me give my own to me. I just had to promise not to do more than one a month. Because I told him, I said, man, I go to the ER and they charge me like $100 for this one shot. And really, when the little vial, it's like $10. So he said, yes, you can give it to he lets me just do it myself. Needles don't bother me. I was an EMT, so like I'm used to those. Okay, Janice, I'm from Waynesville, Ohio. Awesome. And I have a 5-month-old standard poodle, Bella, that we rescued on December 22nd. First time for this breed. Jumping and biting, ongoing problem. Okay, so let's talk about the jumping first. So dogs do what works for them. And most dogs are jumping, especially at 5 months. They want attention. And they're trying to get up here by where we are, by where our face is. And so what I do is what's called negative punishment. I basically like just turn my back and ignore the dog, but then I'll ask for a sit. Or I'll just randomly like move away or turn my back, and whenever the dog has 4 feet on the floor, I will click and treat. I did this with a dog last week that was, oh my gosh, I call it molest jumping, because if you turn your back, he's on your back, and his paws are in your hair, and he's just like relentless. So I would like walk away, and as soon as he had 4 feet on the floor, click treat. And it took about 5 minutes, and then pretty soon he wasn't jumping anymore, and he was offering sit, because I was never giving him attention for jumping, not even negative attention, like, oh, get down, like pushing him down and stuff like that, because that's still giving him attention. So jumping up is working for him. So I just like turn my back, walk away. And then as soon as, so it's like I cause him to go to all 4 feet, and then I click and treat. Um, and then think about what you want the dog to do instead, like a sit stay, a down stay. And so they only get attention and treats when they're sitting, or they have 4 feet on the floor. They can stand. I find that for some really excited dogs, it's easier for them to sit or lay down. But then they only get attention for that. So for biting, it is at 5 months old. Hey, Sam. For 5 months old, your dog's probably just like maybe still teething, but starting to get adult teeth. Usually they have all their adult teeth in by 6 months. And dogs explore their world with their mouth. So they're kind of like, children that want to put everything in their mouth. So what I do is I do like 3 strikes. 3 strikes and you're out. So first strike, if the dog's biting, I'll say, oh, So I will interrupt. My interrupter is either like, that's enough, or and redirect to a toy. It's like, oh, you can't bite me, but here's a toy. And I will engage in play tug with them, give them a toy to chew on. If they don't want the toy and they bite me a second time, then they go in a crate for 1 minute. But, okay. So Shireen, I'll address that in a second. So strike 2 is I always put a toy in the crate so that the crate's not viewed as a punishment or negative. So it's like, oh, well, let's go time out. So that's like they're not in trouble. I mean, they're puppies. They're just doing what works, what they know. So I will just say, oh, time out, and I put them in the crate with a toy for 1 minute. And then let them out. And sometimes they just need that minute to decompress. Then if they bite you a third time, they go back in the crate with a toy, cover the crate, and they get a nap. Because then they're probably like overstimulated, and they're like that tired child that just is like a brat. I'll just say brat. I don't know what else to call them. But like you can tell when kids like, oh my gosh, you just need to go to sleep. So then it's a nap. And then making sure they have a lot of things to chew on. So I really like rope toys for younger dogs because they can like really sink their teeth into them. You can do a washcloth, get it wet and freeze it so they can sink their teeth into that. Another one of my favorites, do I have one out? I don't, are enrichment boxes. So I will save like my Amazon Pupford boxes, and then I'll spread peanut butter in the bottom. You can also use spray cheese, baby food, throw in some kibble treats. I'll throw in vegetables, fold it up, poke some holes in it, and let the dog shred it. So cardboard is not going to hurt them. There's only been a few dogs ever that have like wanted to consume the cardboard. And I had a veterinarian in one of my puppy classes, and she said, cardboard's not going to hurt them. But that way they can sink their teeth in, they can shred, they have to problem solve, like how do I get on the inside? And it's really good for dogs that are teething or like want to chew. So my dog Willie went through a phase where he was chewing on wood. So I'm like my coffee table, my books, like, stuff like this that is like cardboard. And he was chewing it up. And so I started giving him 2 enrichment boxes a week, and he stopped chewing stuff he's not supposed to. So, and it's like stuff I'm going to recycle anyway. And yes, it does kind of make a mess, but it takes like 10 seconds to clean up. So, and I would rather spend that 10 seconds cleaning up their mess than having them chew on stuff they're not supposed to. So, yeah, so try that. Let me go back. Oh, I was going to answer Shireen. So our trainer said cross your arms and walk into their space. I've tried that and it does work. Plus, not giving any attention when wild, and jumping has gotten really better. Yeah, if it works, you can do that. The reason that I turn and walk the other way, so I'm ignoring. Some dogs, if you walk into their space, it can be construed as aversive to some dogs. So, um, some dogs it'll just knock them off balance and stuff. I think I'm thinking about me myself doing this. I could see myself tripping over a dog, like trying to walk into them. If dogs appear like think of that as aversive or is like, oh my gosh, this person's like gonna step on me, or you know, some dogs get reactive in confined spaces. So if the dog views that as a confined space, there is that chance that they could bite or view it as aversive. So that's why I will like if a dog's biting on my hands, like I'll bring my hands up here or say like, hey, so that they can't, and then I just like turn my back, walk away. But yes, if that works for you and your dog doesn't view that as aversive, then yeah, you can do that. Let's see, Brian. Our snow melts and freezes, and the ice is sharp as glass. Oh my gosh, Peyton's paw's now bleeding. Um, yeah, we'll have one day of really nice warm, and then it'll go back to like now the wind's blowing another storm in, so it's just never ending. Tanya, if you let me know where you're from, I will enter you in the drawing. So, oh, let me write your name down first. Tanya Woodruff. We have a Woodruff, Utah here. Okay, I have a 2.5-year-old Yorkie. She barks when she hears someone at the door or doorbell. Otherwise, she is great, even when out. Oh, Tennessee. That's on my bucket list to go to Tennessee. I want to go to Nashville. I have a really good friend there that is trying to make it as a songwriter, which you probably know is really, really hard. He's super talented, but I guess it's just like cutthroat business. Luckily, he's retired from something else, so he doesn't like he gets to kind of do this for fun. But it's still like really hard. And I listened to some of his songs. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could see Blake Shelton singing that, or I could see Miranda Lambert singing that. But I guess it's like really, really hard business. Um, okay, so one thing that I do for barking, well, there's two things. So you could kind of desensitize your dog to the doorbell. Pupford has a great app, and I use this with all of my clients. I will just tell you. Let me see if I can find it. Well, it's the Pupford app, and then it has sounds. Here it is. Imagine that. I have dog and cat hair all over my stuff. So Pupford app, can you guys see that? And then if you hit on sounds, and then on the top it has like training. I know you probably can't see it because of the glare. Oh, for some reason Anita can't get on. Just or message me. So then they have like, oh, Willie, you're gonna break something. My dog is obsessed with this ball. So I will play like door knocking sounds or doorbell sounds. And now because there's so many different doorbell sounds, you can actually record your own. And then I start at a really low volume to where the dog can barely hear it. And I'll play it and drop treats. And then when the sound stops, the treats stop. And then I turn it up. And when I turn it up, I mean like I go 2 clicks on my phone. So I'll turn it up, go 1, 2, a little louder. And then do it again. So a little louder. Sound equals treats. Sound stops, treat stop. If your dog barks, I don't know. Anita's trying to Join. Yes, I'm on Facebook. Well, I'm on like 2 different Facebook pages. Okay, so I go, and then I keep increasing the sound. Once I get to the highest of my phone, then I might plug in a Bluetooth speaker or something so I can go even louder until I can get the actual volume of the doorbell. Now, if your dog barks or cowers or something like that, then that's a sign to go back down on the phone, and go to a lower volume. So that is one way to do it. Is just condition your dog to the doorbell so that doorbell equals treats when they're quiet. If they bark, then you're just gonna turn it back down. Um, the other one I do is a positive interrupter. So I allow my dogs to bark once to alert me, like, hey, there's somebody at the door, there's something going on outside, anything like that. So if the dogs bark, I'll say, okay, guys, that's enough. And it's like they're not in trouble. Um, asking a dog not to bark is like asking them not to breathe or asking a child not to speak. So that's their way of communicating. So I let them bark once, and then I interrupt and say, okay, guys, that's enough. And then previously, I have paired that's enough with treat. So with the dogs, I'll say, that's enough, throw a treat. That's enough, throw a treat. Kind of like how you charge the clicker. So that way, when they hear, see, my dogs just came running because they heard that's enough. So when they hear that's enough, they know, oh, stop what I'm doing, go to mom and get a treat. And then I redirect them. So let's say somebody knocks on the door or rings the doorbell and your dog starts barking. Then you can say, hey, that's enough. And then they stop, they come to you, get a treat, and then you can ask them to do something else. Like today, I had a client and we practiced go to your place. So then the dog would go to its place, lay down while we practice like opening the door, letting somebody in, and then the dog gets to go say hi. So we worked on the doorbell, but then we also worked on a different behavior. So instead of going up to the door and jumping on people, this was a fairly young, I think 7 months, golden doodle, and very jumpy and barks. So owner says, hey, that's enough. And dog knows, oh, stop, go to mom, get a treat. And I recommended that she keep treats like on the table by the front door, at the entry, just so she can reward the dog and then send the dog to their place. And then they know to go to lay down. And then when the person comes in, then they get to greet and say hi. The person gives them a treat, like stuff like that. So either one of those, you can do. So I would probably do both, just so your dog gets used to the doorbell and learns, like, oh, when the doorbell happens, I get treats as long as I'm quiet. And then if she does bark, you can interrupt and then ask her to do something else, like go to your crate, go to your place, like anything other than barking. Um, let's see. Our biggest issues are jumping on us or company, and he's greeting us. Yeah, so I wish I knew how to upload a video. I actually videotaped this today. The same golden doodle, when he would come to the door and bark, and then when they were trying to let people in, the dog was just all over them jumping. So we started working on go to your place and then downstay. Um, I have a good handout. It's from Best Friends. I'm gonna put my email in the chat. So if you want to email me and just ask for my go to your place, so this is for all of you guys having issues with jumping. And I'll tell you, so my dog Jade still jumps on people, and the reason is because she is an adorable little pitty mix, and everybody's like, "Oh, I don't mind. She's so cute. Look at those big ears." And I'm like, "But I mind." But people will say, "Oh, it's fine, I don't mind," but so she still gets rewarded sometimes. And so it's like playing slot machines. Like you win every once in a while, but it's enough to keep you still playing. Like maybe I'll win this time, maybe I'll win this time, maybe I'll win this time. I never win, so I don't play. So if it never pays off, the dogs won't do it. But everybody has to be on board. So what we did is we got the dog's mat and placed it like kind of so you go upstairs and then there's the landing. We placed it right by the landing. And then first we taught the dog go to your place, and then um so we worked on place and then stay. So go to your place means basically go to your place and lay down. And then we did stay and we practiced walking to the door and then walking to the door and turning the handle, going back and treating, then opening the door. And then even saying the words, "Hi, come on in." But there wasn't anybody there. And then when the dog could stay, then we had the kids that lived there go around and knock on the door. Um, and it worked really, really well. So like um, um, the dog did a perfect like downstay while the daughter and the friends like came in, and and then like if the dog gets up, they back out and go outside of the door, and we just close the door. So if the dog doesn't hold a stay, it causes the company or the people to go away. But as long as they wait, then we release them and we say, "Okay, go say hi." And then the dog gets to go say hi. They get pet, they get treats from the person. So it worked really, really well as far as then the dog not jumping on me, not jumping on other people. But they have to make sure that they are consistent and doing it with everybody every single time. So one thing that I recommend um, is putting a note on your door that says "Dog in training. Thank you for your patience." Because it might take you a second to get your dog in a downstay. And then don't be offended if I close the door in your face. Because if you go to open the door and the dog sees, "Oh, it's a guest," and your dog gets up, you have to close the door. Because if your dog breaks and gets up to go see the person and you haven't released them, you don't want them to get reinforced for breaking that stay by getting to say hi to the person. So I just close the door. It's kind of better if you practice with somebody. Like I used to pay the neighbor kids like $5 back when I was learning how to do it. Probably now the kids would want 20. Um, but I would have them come around and like knock on the door just to teach the dog that new pattern. Um, but this dog actually picked it up really quick. And when we were practicing with the kids, as soon as we'd walk up the stairs, the dog would go right to the place and lay down. We didn't even have to cue it. I've never had that happen on like the first time of doing that. This dog was like really smart because we would start to walk up the stairs and the dog would automatically go to that mat and lay down because he learned, "Oh, when I hear the doorbell, I go to my place and then I get to say hi and get treats." Does that make sense? So it works really, really well. Um, let's see. I tell him to leave stuff like my glasses. He just keeps finding them. So, with that, we do a lot of environmental management, which means to put them up where a dog can't get to them. So, I am used to leaving my shoes by the door, but whenever I have a puppy board and train, hey, Willie, you're going to break the glass. Hi, Jade. Um, but if I have a puppy here, one of my boots is chewed because I left it out and a puppy got it. So I have to, when I have a pup here, my shoes go in the laundry room where the dog can't get them. I have a pair of glasses. I actually threw them away, but Willie chewed up a pair of my glasses. And so I had to buy new ones. And it was my fault because I had them on top of my head and they slid down and I didn't realize that they were on the couch. So then he got them. So just making sure that things like shoes, socks, glasses are totally put up where a dog can't get them. That's the best way to do it, and making it so that they can't find them. I have baby gates in front of like places where I don't want the dogs to go. So that helps as well. Hi Michelle. Love catching this every week. Oh, I'm so glad you're joining. Let's see, Massachusetts. Creole. 2 L's. Awesome. Um, oh, okay, Julie, I'm going to ask that. And I think somebody asked it down here with the that's enough. The moment they're quiet, you reward. Yes. So I'm going to jump around with these a little bit. So, Julie, to get them before they go over threshold with the barking, you would need to know that's where I would desensitize them to the sound so that they don't go over threshold. Also, if you know somebody's going to come over, then you can say, like, if you know somebody's going to come, say, hey, text me when you get to my house. And then before they get there, or right when they get there, put your dogs in a crate or put them in their place in a downstay. And then ask the person, like some people will have a note say, please don't ring the doorbell, knock softly, or whatever you want to do. And so if you can catch them like before they start barking and have them do something else, like if you know somebody's going to come over, you can put them in another room with a stuffed cone or a lick mat to lick, so that they're doing something else before the doorbell happens or the door knocking happens. And then the only other thing that you can do is desensitizing them to the door knocking or the doorbell, so that they don't go over threshold when they hear it. Let's see. Lloyd has been having more issues with random people walking by the house when he's inside. Oh, okay. So with that, think about, and you guys that join every week, I know you probably heard me talk about this. Every time your dog looks out the window and somebody walks by with their dog and they bark and that person keeps walking, that becomes reinforcing to the dog. So if you think about the UPS guy, the FedEx guy, the mailman or mail lady, they come on your property, they drop something off, and then they leave. So in the dog's mind, it's like, if I bark, I can make people leave, because in your dog's mind, Lloyd thinks he's doing that. He thinks if I bark, I can make people leave. So same with like people walking by or dogs walking by, they're barking, but then they think they're making that person leave. Like, I don't want you on my property. Go ahead. So the best thing to do for that is create it so that the dogs can't look out the window. So I don't know. I mean, mine is a mess, but you can see my window has like flowers and stuff. And then I have the puppy crates in front of it. So my dogs actually can't look out the front window. They just can't. I mean, I still get light in and stuff like that, but I have stuff there so they can't look out the window. And that way, when the neighbors go by with their dogs and traffic, I live right on a corner, so there's cars that come by, people walk their dogs. My dogs don't ever see out. Now, if they're outside in the yard and they see somebody walking by, they will bark. So as soon as I hear them barking, I'll go out and say, hey, that's enough. And they know now, oh, that's enough means that we're quiet. So yes, when they're quiet, they stop barking because it's like, oh, we heard that's enough. That means we get a treat. So they stop barking, come to me and get a treat. And then I might bring them in the house until people walk by, or I'll throw treats out into the grass and tell them to go hunt. And then they're busy hunting for food rather than barking. The other thing, if there's just a random guy like standing on the sidewalk, you wouldn't be able to do this if you're on a call, but we do what's called the engage disengage game, where you can teach your dog to just look and notice. And then when they can look and not bark, click and treat. So if they're barking, that means they're too close. So then you have to back up, like back away from the door, back away from the window, And Andrea, I can send you this handout too. Just email me and say you want the engage disengage handout. Um, and practice like, oh, look, Lloyd, there's a person. Click treat. And all they have to do is look and stay calm. They just have to look at it, not bark. They get a click and a treat. I do use a clicker for sure on this because the sound of the click helps the dogs get disengage. So it's not an attention getter, but we're marking the behavior of them just looking and not barking. So if they're barking, that means they're too close, so you need to back up. Or if you have a helper, you have them move farther away. So you start at whatever distance you need to be at for Lloyd to just look and not bark, and then it's click treat. And then click treat. And eventually Lloyd will look at the person and then disengage and look at you like, oh, hey, there's a person. Where's my treat? I didn't bark. By the way, there's a person. And then you can say, yeah, it's just a person. It's no big deal. Here, let's go to your mat and do something else. So yes, I mean, if you're on a call, you know, I don't know what your setup is, but if you can use your like that's enough, then have him come get a treat and like put him in your office with you, close the door so he can't bark. Or block windows or doorways so that when you're working from home or on a call, your dog can't look out. So, I mean, I do a lot of Zoom, clients because I have clients that are in different states. And so, like, I can't be training my dogs while I'm on a Zoom. So that's why I have it so my dogs can't even look out. If they're out in the yard barking, I can tell their bark, like if there's somebody just walking by, or if somebody's horses or cows or something are out, and then I'll say, "Oh, excuse me, 1 second," and then I'll go, "Hey guys, that's enough," and then I'll bring them in. But I have worked with them a lot, um, so that they know that's enough means stop what you're doing, come get a treat. Yes, Brian, I feel your pain. When it's warm here, everybody's out. Giselle, let's see. Giselle, I did not write you down. I'll do one more question and then I will do a drawing and then I'll answer a few more. And then that way, if people need to go, they can. When I take Stitch out in my backyard to potty, he will not come back in. Oh, even with treats. Huh. Interesting. Um, you could try hand targeting. And if he doesn't want to come back in with treats, try higher value treats. So, like, oh, you may not come in for treats, but how about hot dog? Will you come in for hot dogs? Or will you come in for cheese or a piece of chicken? Because if dogs don't want to do something, often it's because it's not reinforcing enough. And then also make sure that your dog is getting plenty of time outside, which I know right now I have to restrict. I have to supervise because our snow is so high, my dogs could literally just hop over the fence. But if he likes to be out in the yard, make sure he's getting yard time to run around. You can play the go hunt game. Um, so then when he goes potty, you can bring him in, but use like a hot dog or something. If you still have problems with him not coming in, you could put a long line on him. So then he goes potty and then you have a leash. And I don't like to like drag dogs, but I like to teach hand targeting for stuff like that because it gives the dog a job. And instead of being like, I don't want to come in, they're like, oh, I come and touch their hand and then I get a reward. And you can like move a dog. So if this is your dog outside and you say like touch, the dog comes and touches, gets a treat. Then you can move your hand, touch, they get a treat. So I do that for dogs that don't like to walk on leash as well because it kind of redirects their brain and instead of like I don't want to walk, I don't want to come, it's like, oh, I just go up and touch your hand and I get rewarded. So it kind of gives them something else to do. Hi Hannah, if you want to give me your last name and where you're from, I will enter you in the drawing because we're going to have it in just a second. I'll answer one more question to give Hannah a time or a chance to tell me where she's from. Brian, and starting to growl terrible twos. Um, yeah. Um, and yes, I mean, technically, between 2 and 3 is when dogs reach social maturity. So, could still be going through an adolescent stage. Oh, funny, Andrea. Speaking of socks, Lloyd has what I call emotional support socks. He steals my socks. I was worried about him eating them. Yeah, I mean, as long as he is, and the reason he likes your socks is because they have your scent on them. So that's why dogs steal socks and underwear, is because they have our scent on them. And so I had a puppy here, or no, yeah, I had a puppy and a foster dog. And I noticed that they were playing tug with my sock, which my bad. I put them on the coffee table and forgot that I have a puppy that likes to steal objects here. And Jade, please don't chase the cat. Come here. Um, so they were playing tug with one. The other one is outside in the snow somewhere, and I'll find it in the spring. Yes, as long as your dog isn't consuming them, it's probably fine. If they swallow them, they don't pass them, so then it's like surgery. So that's why I don't like dogs to get socks. But as long as your dog just wants them there for comfort, it's probably fine. Oh, Renee, let me write you down. Okay, I'll put all these in a bowl in a second, and we'll have a drawing. Oh, Maddie's trying to play. My dogs are about ready to get the zoomies. Okay, I'm going to answer another one while I'm ripping these up and putting them in the bowl. I guess I leave blinds open so Lucy and Cat and him can look out the window. Yeah, I mean, it can be like my cat loves to look out the window, but for dogs, it can be really overstimulating. If there's a lot going on and they're barking, then that's when I limit their view. But if dogs can just be quiet and like look out the window and enjoy what's going on, it's great. But if they can't, then that's when I limit their view. Let's see, Andrea. So I love using a clicker. I love it when my clients will do it. I don't make them do it. What it does is it marks behavior. So let's see, I have a rule that I don't click. If I click, I have to treat, because the click means you just want to treat. So it's like if you watch a game show and somebody gets the right answer and then they give an answer and then you hear ding, 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 ding. They're like, oh, yeah, I got it right. It's the same thing. They hear the click and the dog's like, oh, I just earned a treat. So Jade, please don't chase the cat. Come here. So example right there. I knew that this little one was going to go chase the cat. So I interrupted her before she did it and called her to me. And now I don't have treats right here, so I'm just petting her and praising her and telling her good girl. That's a good girl to not chase the cat. So this marks behavior. Think of it as a camera. So as soon as the dog's butt hits the ground for a sit, you click and then you deliver a treat. So the treat comes within 2 seconds of the click for the dog to make the association. It's the same way they teach dolphins and whales to do tricks. So when the dog touches your hand, as soon as you feel the nose, it's click, treat. So a lot of people use a verbal marker like yes. It's the same thing, but it's more of a distinct sound that the dog recognizes that means reward is coming. They're fun. It's awesome. Okay. Let me mix all these up. Tonight, our winner is Janice Coombs from Ohio. So congratulations, Janice. And what do you want tonight? Let's see. What do you want me to give away? Let's see. Janice, since you win, I'll let you pick. Do you want snuffle mat, a flirt pole, or a bag of treats? 1 week, I want to give away the new dental water stuff because I want you guys to tell me if it works. Oh, I know, Renee. 3 Renees on one call. And you'd think that a Renee would win because Renees have like better chance of winning. Three Renees. But yeah. So Janice, what do you prefer? Do you want a snuffle mat? They're awesome if you don't have one. Flirt pole or training treats, and you can pick what kind of treats you want. Okay, so Shireen, that's actually a snuffle mat. Okay, awesome. That's actually a really good question, Shireen. Would looking out the window help with socializing? Yes. Yes. So with puppies, I tell people like, during COVID, I would say just go to a store and sit in your car. And every time your dog sees somebody out the window, treat them. And be like, oh, there's a person, treat. Oh, look, there goes a garbage truck, treat. There goes the snowplow, treat. So your dog is looking out and you're pairing all these things with treats. And then they learn like, oh, good stuff happens when I see this. And so then it kind of it makes that positive association with things that I normally bark at equals treats. So yes, it is really good socialization as long as you're there and can treat them for just looking at it and being quiet. It works great. So yes, that was a great question. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Giselle, he's out for 30 minutes, and I take him back in. I also take him on 20-minute walks during nice weather since it's getting too hot. Yeah, I wish we had that problem. We were out in the wind today, and it was so cold, and I had a migraine. The wind's still blowing, but yeah, I would try touch. I would, or make it more fun to come back inside. Like, ooh, look, I have a snuffle mat, or I have a lick mat, or I have something really fun inside. If you want to come in and play, and just make it more fun and exciting to be inside than outside. You could try that too. Oh my gosh, can you guys hear that? Willie's gonna break something. He's so obsessed with those treat dispensing balls, and I don't even have to put treats in him. He will just, I have piles of slobber everywhere, and he will just like stand over his ball. And since it has the holes for the treats to come out, he will try to get his teeth in there and then he'll carry it around. But since it's a hard ball, like when it gets away from it, crashes into stuff. But at least it entertains him. Okay, thanks you guys for coming. Great group and great questions. So thank you. Next week we'll probably do 6:30. Just because I'm really trying to get to the gym from 5 to 6 on Tuesdays and Thursdays because there's a class I like. And so we'll plan on 6:30 next Tuesday. And yep, come back next week for a chance to win. And I always try to find a topic to talk about and then answer your questions. So, and then yes, feel free to email me if you want any of the handouts that I talked about tonight. Okay, everybody have a great rest of your night and great rest of your week.